Hey, it's BessieLB. Welcome back to another product review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Julian Bakery Paleo Thin Coconut Bread. We have here, they had this one and they had, I think it was another nut bread. It might have been almond bread, but I was really intrigued to try this coconut one because coconut is naturally sweet as well as nutty, and I was just like, you know what, this is probably gonna be a good one. It is only 35 calories, as you can see. 35 calories, 5 grams of protein, 5 grams of fiber, and 1 gram of net carbs. So that's pretty freaking good. I've been on a mission lately of intaking low carb or carb cycling actually, and it's been pretty good. For the month of January, it's been pretty good. And so one of my issues that I've had is finding gluten-free, keto-friendly bread. The thing is, before I had to go gluten-free for medical reasons, before I even knew that I had a gluten sensitivity, I would try like keto bread if I could, just to have a low carb intake. But once I had to go gluten free, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I could just do low carb like I did before. The keto bread most likely is gluten free. This is not knowing, you know, the research that I know now. And I look and I was like, oh wow, a lot of keto bread is still made with gluten. And I just would have assumed, with it being keto friendly, I just would have assumed that it would have sort of already been naturally gluten free. But that's why they say research is key, and that's not the case. So if you know anything about being gluten free, you already know that the products out there in the market is hella expensive. You already know that the cost for gluten free stuff is already like taxed, okay? But for it to also be keto friendly too, that can also be a little bit of a taxi thing too. I would say it's regular everyday bread that's not gluten free, that's not keto friendly, is like the cost of breads, I feel like. Or just, I'm just using breads as an example before a lot of products. And then keto friendly is like that next price tier. I feel like sometimes it could be a little bit more than just the regular bread. Sometimes you might get lucky and it's the same price. And then gluten-free is like a notch above keto-friendly. And that's just gluten-free bread. But to find gluten-free and keto, baby, let me just tell you, this bread, I think I took a picture of the price. This bread was on sale for what, like $11? And I think the regular price, like local to where I am, is $13. So yes, Julian Bakery, I'm telling you right now, we gonna see how this bread tastes, okay? Because either y'all are on to something, and this bread is worth every bit of my coin, or I'm gonna let y'all know if there's some improvements y'all need to do for every bit of my coin, okay? So let's go on ahead. What I'm gonna do this morning is I'm gonna take 2 pieces of bread. By the way, the facts here is based off of 1 slice of bread, okay? I'm gonna take 2 slices this morning and make my favorite snack, or I guess for breakfast, it's gonna be a breakfast item. One of my favorite things I've been into lately is some toast, some peanut butter, some banana, and a drizzle of pure maple syrup. When I say it is so divine, I mean it's so divine. So you guys have to try that snack out if you haven't. And let me just tell y'all a little secret. Growing up, I was not a peanut butter girl. I was more of a jelly girl. I still am more of a jelly girl. And I'm not really into peanut butter. If I have peanut butter, I like it to be mixed with something. Like I like peanuts and I like peanut butter in something like a peanut sauce, or if you put peanuts on your salad. But I do not love peanut butter the way people are like, oh, I just eat it by the jar, whatever. So try that out. But to get on, we're gonna sit here and toast 2 slices of this, and then I'm gonna come back and show y'all how I do my sandwich. And before I assemble my sandwich, I'm gonna give this bread a fair try. And I am going to try some of it before putting the peanut butter on. That way it doesn't skew my actual thoughts about what the bread tastes like. Come on, let's do it. Okay, so while those 2 pieces of bread toast up, I want to say this bread is very like, how do you explain? It has a texture that feels like it's like when you're eating a pound cake. This is a perfect example. And you know, pound cake has like that little bit of crumble, but it also has like that little layer of not super sticky, but that little layer of sticky and smooth. It feels very smooth, like a nice moist pound cake. So that's a good thing, because can I just tell y'all, gluten-free bread typically be dry as hell. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. There's certain brands out there that do a good job with gluten-free bread, but there's a lot of gluten-free bread out there, y'all, that it's just dry, okay? So that's the first thing to say about this bread. The edges also don't feel too like stale type taste. I haven't tasted, but I can tell you it doesn't feel like it's gonna be that stale type taste. It smells just regular. It doesn't have like a coconut sort of smell, and I know y'all are probably like, ew, she's not any attention on the bread. Y'all, it's just me and my dog. If y'all don't know, now y'all know. It's just me and my dog. So ain't nobody gonna be eating this $13 bread but me, and my hands are clean, so don't worry about it. But yeah, as far as consistency, that's what it feels like. I'll come back to y'all once we got it out of the toast. So we got our bread toasted. As you can tell, the consistency looks a little bit darker, a little more crisp with texture. I don't like my toast to be extra crunchy, but I like to feel like it has that softness, but it has also that like layer of crisp on the outside. So I know it may not look like it's super crispy, but it's like perfect. I still kind of like it chewable with a crisp instead of like crunchy burnt with a crisp. Let's go on ahead and try a piece of it, and then I'm gonna try it with the peanut butter and banana and maple syrup. I'm gonna take a bite. It's so interesting because I feel like the aroma of the bread stands out once you heat it, versus when y'all saw that I smelled it before I actually toasted it. It didn't have that much of an aroma. It's interesting. It's not bad. It just smells like a natural bread. Let me see. It has that coconut taste to it, but not overwhelming. It sort of tastes like coconut with other natural ingredients. Matter of fact, let me grab the ingredients so I can read that off for y'all. Okay, so it says that the ingredients is purified water, organic coconut flour, egg whites, psyllium seed powder, excuse me if I'm butchering that word, organic lemon juice, and then leavening salt and salt. So I can definitely see how it has those other things to kind of bind it together. but it's not bad. The best way I can describe it is it has a good consistency. It has almost like a binded cornbread, not necessarily cornbread, but more like the pound cake I was telling y'all. So think of a pound cake, but instead of a pound cake being sweet, this bread tastes more savory. You have the natural sweet from coconut, but it tastes more of like a savory bread than it tastes like a sweet pound cake, if that makes any sense. Other than that, y'all, it's keto friendly, gluten free, soy free, dairy free, GMO free. It's paleo and keto friendly. So baby, they may be wanting something. Let's go on ahead and make it with a sandwich and see how it holds up with that. Okay, y'all, it is looking mighty good. Looking pretty good. I do like that it doesn't feel like the bread's falling apart, because that's another thing that's very important. If the bread starts falling apart, it just ruins the sandwich. Everybody knows if you're eating a good ass sandwich and the bread starts crumbling apart, that's a no-go. So, you know, let's try this out. Okay. Because it's coconut, it sets it off in a good way, because it kind of has that slight nutty taste to it. The only thing I would say is that the ingredients said that the last bit of ingredients they added was salt. Comment below if you know the answer to this. Maybe the salt is added scientifically to keep the bread maybe a certain way. Maybe it's not. I don't feel like it is, but if it is, let me know. But I'm more sensitive to salt, and not sensitive like it makes me react in a way. It's more I'm sensitive to taste when it comes to salt. So I can taste if there's like salt in certain stuff that I'm like, like for example, I'm not really big on salted candy. Like I hate the concept of salt on top of like chocolate. That's not my thing. So for me, when it comes to this bread, it gives me that aftertaste of I can taste the salt. And if I'm eating something sweet like this, I don't want to be able to taste the salt. So that would be my only interjection with this bread, is I don't like that it has salt inside of it if it doesn't need it. Also, the bread does a little bit have that, like, when you're eating it, you kind of get that, like, and that's also why I don't love peanut butter, because peanut butter also has that, like, thick sort of, you need to chew and not talk like I'm doing right now, because you almost feel like with a consistency like that, you don't want to almost choke. And it's not to say that the bread is dry. The bread is not dry, but the consistency of it, you definitely don't want to be running your mouth. I mean, you shouldn't be talking while you eat anyway, but I think that's my thoughts about it. Other than that, it's not bad with something sweet, but I do think that it would be a better bread with something savory. And before I end this vlog, I will try it with something savory, just briefly, and let you know if I think it tastes better with like a breakfast sandwich or something else. But yeah, as I chew, I feel like there's a lot of like, and I almost feel like I'm getting a little bit thirsty. I don't know if that's the consistency or if it's a combination with the peanut butter. Normally I don't have that issue with the peanut butter on normal bread. So I don't know. That's my thoughts about this bread so far. I'll be back when I try with something savory, and then I'll give you my overall review on what it tastes like as far as number, or the quality of the bread as far as number. I'll be back. Hey y'all, hey, I am back. So I decided to make a more savory sandwich and see if that makes it taste any different. After I sat for some time after eating the peanut butter syrup and banana sandwich, it does leave a lingering like salty taste. And I actually checked the sodium, and I think it's like 75 mg per serving. Actually, let me grab it. So yeah, the servings is 1 gram of total fat, 35 calories. This is all for one slice. Cholesterol is 0 mg. Sodium is 75 mg, and so forth. So I don't know. Maybe it is that like if you're a little more hypersensitive to like salt and you can taste it, you will taste it. It doesn't taste too salty. I want to make that clear. It's not like, oh God, this is salty, but it's more salt in it than you may expect coming from sliced bread, right? And so after I ate it, I did have that like lingering like salt taste that I didn't love. So that is another something that I'm not very fond of for the bread, but I do want to give it a try, and I want to give it a fair assessment on like a proper rating. So this is a hearty sandwich, as you can see. It is the turkey sausage patties with guacamole or like avocado spread, however, and a running egg because I like my eggs over easy, and the toast. And we're gonna see if that makes a difference. So the bread does still have that like soft pound cake consistency. That's just the consistency, right? I can say, I know, like I said, you shouldn't be talking and eating anyway, but it does feel like the bread is a little bit more of that, like you have to take that swallow to get it down your throat, because I feel like as you bite it, it does become a little crumbly, and that may be kind of hard with swallowing for some people. Let me try to do it and not be trying to talk to you and see how that works. I'm not gonna lie, it still has that effect. It still has that like crumbly effect. It's like as soon as it gets from your mouth of chewing, there's that crumbly effect that hits your throat that almost feels like you'll end up choking. And I'm not I'm not trying to make this company to be out like their bread's not that great, whatever, but that's some things that people want to think about, right? Because I know some people have trouble chewing or swallowing certain pieces of food. So there is that. All in all, if I have to rate this bread, I think I'll have to give it, guys, I probably will have to give it like a 5-6. I don't love that it have that leftover salty taste like after I use it with sweet things. I don't love that it is a little crumbly as you're trying to eat it. And it feels like you didn't properly chew your food, sort of. And then it's like you almost feel like you need to chase it with water. And I just feel like, I don't know, between that consistency and the salt intake, I don't know that I love that. But other than all, like when you're toasting it, it's fine. It makes for a good sandwich. I mean, the nutrition facts is amazing. But I want to be able to enjoy it. So I don't know that I'd purchase it again. If somebody had it in their house and I really was craving bread and that was what was there, then I would have it. But I don't think that I'd purchase it again, and I don't feel like it's my top choice. So maybe I have to just continue to be on a hunt for gluten-free, keto-friendly bread and seeing what else is out there. So that's my overall honest review.